Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. My favorite thing in the world is sport flankers. Yeah, it's a little known fact about me. Nothing gets me more pumped than seeing a fragrance brand go, let's phone this motherfucker in. That gives me life. That gives me energy. And today we're taking a look at the newest sport flanker, Gentleman Society. Now, part of this is actually kind of cool in a way because actually sport flankers are really on the down slope. I mean, how many of those have come out here recently? Very, very few. You go back years and everybody had a sport flanker. Like if you didn't have a sport flanker, you were a nobody. Who are you? Don't even look at me. Don't share the same air I breathe unless you've got that sport flanker, brother. And then things changed and everybody stopped making them. But you know, we got a new one. So maybe it's coming back around. I don't know if that's a good thing, but maybe it is. So I bought my bottle from eBay, and actually I think 2 days after I bought the bottle on eBay, it popped up for sale on Givenchy's website. So never fails. To be fair though, I actually paid a little less than what retail is, so it worked out okay. And apparently a lot of people were getting free bottles of this stuff. Like, I want a free bottle. Actually, I don't. Take your free bottle and get out of here. So I'm gonna have this linked in the description in case you wanna check it out, probably at their website. I don't think as of this moment it's popped up at retailers, but if it has, I'll link it there or whatever. Let's go ahead and check out this presentation and then we can talk about how it smells and if this is good sport or bad sport. On the front, name of the fragrance, name of the house, size and concentration. It is an eau de parfum and the bottle size is 100 mils. Nothing doing on the sides. They are fingerprint magnets as well. Up top, you have the logo. On the back, a QR code. And then on the bottom, your badge code and barcode. Badge code 5K01. And here is the bottle. Looks pretty nice. It's got a gradient, darker up top, lighter at the bottom, just says sport right there in the middle. In typical sport fashion, slap it on there in red, makes it pop. I guess. You have on the bottom a sticker with your badge code. The cap clicks into place. You also have the logo on top of the atomizer. Let's share spray. Okay. Atomizer's pretty good. I like that. I like a good atomizer. You know, I like more than a good atomizer, a magnetic cap, and that one ain't. But you know, whatever. Can't win them all. And before we dive headlong into this scent profile, look at that above me. It's codes. You can use those if you would so desire to save a small percentage off of your order. Fragflex, the perfume box, JOMASHOP, Fragrance Lord. We got codes for all the good places. So anytime you shop for fragrances, use those codes, save yourself a little extra money. Back to Gentleman Society Sport, excuse me. Now, as I kind of poked fun at before and also talked about when this was first announced, sport flankers don't always have the greatest reputation. And the reason for that is a lot of them have felt like over the years, throwaways. You know, just the kind of thing where they go like, okay, just make it smell like shower gel and crap it out there. Who cares? We'll sell it until nobody's buying it anymore, then we'll discontinue it and throw it into the clearance bin. We really don't care. That's how a lot of these brands have approached sport flankers over the years, which is why when you think sport flankers, you basically just think, oh, Allure Homme Sport and then Dior Homme Sport. Then for the most part after that, it's just the island of misfit fragrances. Well, how does this one fit into the sport hierarchy? Well, it opens up with lemon, which makes sense because that is the top note. And off the top, it is definitely more of a sharp lemon. Woo! Slightly candied sweet, but definitely brisk, sharp, kind of right in your face. And I actually love how it opens up. I really dig the lemon in there. Lemon is tricky though, because when that's used as a top note, especially if it's used in abundance like it is here, for some people that is not gonna smell all that nice. And that's because a lot of people, especially in North America, have kind of like a mental block when it comes to that type of citrus where they smell it and they automatically think cleaner products. So talking about like Lysol spray that you would spray on your kitchen counter and wipe it up, a lot of times that has a lemon scent. And so when you get something that's very lemon forward, it can remind some people of that. It doesn't me, but I absolutely know for a fact other people it will. So keep that in mind if you're the type of person who does make that connection, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if you are, you're probably gonna catch that with this one when you first spray it on. I love it, my wife loves it as well, but you can't take her word for granted here because when it comes to citrus, it don't matter. If it's citrus, she likes it. And she knows it's true. When she's gonna watch this, she knows it's true. So yeah, it's gonna open up with a sharp citrus, that lemon right off the rip, a little bit sweet, so a touch of sugary kind of aspects in there. And very quickly, it starts to take on a little bit of a slightly soapy aspect. So you get this kind of soapy, clean vibe, like an Italian soap type of scent profile. And that gives it a little bit of a classically masculine vibe, a little bit of that appeal going on. So you do get that as well. It's not the type of sport fragrance that as soon as you spray it on, it smells shower gel, you know, not like a blue fragrance type of freshness. Also not a really overly woody type of scent profile like you would get in Your Homme Sport. Not Tonka forward like you might find in Allure Homme Sport. Instead, leaning slightly, not all the way, not full bore, but leaning slightly toward that, what we used to call classic Italian cologne style fragrances. Again, not smelling the same as those, but just very lightly inspired by them, I would say. You know, stuff like Acqua di Parmesenza, Eau Sauvage Parfum. Again, not the same as it, and I know Eau Sauvage is Dior, as I said, Italian, blah, 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 blah. But it's like that type of lemon plus a little bit of aromatics plus vetiver. You know, that kind of vibe. That's what you're gonna be pulling from this as it heads into the mid. Again, I said though, it's not overly woodsy, so don't worry about the vetiver coming across, you know, earthy or heavy or anything like that, which you probably wouldn't expect that anyway since it is a sport, but it's more like a clean, slightly dry vetiver, you know, that kind of vibe coming across in the background. Now, this also has Narcissus, you know, daffodil. So that's going to tie this in with the other Gentleman Society fragrances, except for it doesn't actually smell that similar to the other Gentleman Society fragrances. So there is that. So like the original one here, or, you know, any of the other flankers that have come after this one, they have much more of that floral aspect coming through, much more of that Narcissus, and even with some of them, a little bit of an irisy vibe as well. So you get that creamy aspect with the florals as well. If you side by side Society Sport with Society, or, you know, the other flankers, you're not gonna get a whole heck of a lot of overlap. So if you were expecting this to smell like that, only fresher, that's not really the case. In Sport here, you don't really get a whole heck of a lot of the florals, and it's kind of to the point that you could pretty much just ignore them if you wanted to, in the sense that they're not right there at the forefront. So the other Gentleman Society fragrances, or the other gentleman fragrances, they all have floral parts that are right there at the front. Whether it's iris, or it's Narcissus, or a blend of both, they have it in spades where you can smell those floral notes. This one, it's, you know, going obviously fresher, a little fizzier, and they've kind of scrubbed any of that potential creamy aspect or more typical floral aspects away. To me, the soapiness is really prominent, very noticeable from probably the second half of the opening into the mid, but after it's been on your skin for an hour or so, that part starts to fade back, and you get left with a very clean, maybe lightly musky woodiness, some of that lemon carrying over as well, just remnants of that sweetened, sharp lemon carries over into the mid. And once you hit the dry down, it takes on a little bit of an ambery feel to it, maybe amber woody, better way to put it. So you get a little bit of that warmth that you expect from amber notes, even though there's no official amber or anything in here, it's just cedar, technically, as the only base note. But you get a little bit of that amber touch, you know? It doesn't go full powder, but you get a little hint of that warming, like, glow of sweetness alongside the woods that you can pick up. And those are gonna be more prominent than the amber. And I gotta say, it is not what I expected, because I think with the original write-up from the brand, they were basically just pitching it as, oh, it's Society, but it's fresh though. So it's the same, but fresh. Which, great job with the write-up, by the way. That's just, I would have never thought of that. Jesus, these guys are onto something. Take something, freshen it up. Why has nobody ever thought of this before? Genius. That's what I was expecting. And then to get it in and have it be, oh, surprise, it's actually a big old blast of lemon off the top with kind of a soapy, classically masculine tone to it, at least clearly inspired by that. And then to let that dry down with a little hint of this warming, ambery-esque vibe with those clean woods kind of working over top, that's not what I expected. I expected way more of the Narcissus. And there's just not a lot of that. And for some people, that's gonna make this a total whiff. If you're a big fan of Gentleman's Society and you were like, heck yeah, brother, give me some of that, just freshened up, a little zingified, you might smell this and be like, where is Gentleman's Society? This is something different thrown into the same line. On the flip side, that can make this work better for you if you're looking for a little different take on a spring summer scent that, you know, takes some ideas from fragrances in the past and tries to modernize them, because that's kind of what's going on here. So I would expect this one to be a little bit love it or hate it. I would expect some people who don't like that citrus off the top to really dislike this one. I would expect some people who like the DNA and wanted more of that here to really dislike it. And then I would expect a lot of other people to really enjoy it as a different type of daily wear scent. And I think you just throw that all together, you're gonna have a lot of people, you know, picking sides on this one. Now, obviously, in terms of usability, it is a sport fragrance, and after everything I've said, it's more of a spring, summer, daytime fragrance. But it's safe enough that you could wear it pretty much whenever you want, and if you wanted to switch it up and wear something that's gonna come across definitely more icy, then wear it, you know, winter or late fall, and when that lemon hits the air, it's gonna come across like that. Performance-wise, it is actually pretty good. One of the big drawbacks from a lot of sport fragrances is they suck in terms of performance. They just don't really linger, they don't last that long. This one is solid. It is an eau de parfum, so you know they have played into that a little bit. They've given it a little more of a concentration rather than your more typical eau de toilette sport kind of vibe. So you get pretty good staying power from it. Longevity for this type of fragrance, especially with how much citrus is in there off the top, is really good. Projection is a little more moderate, maybe slightly above moderate for this type of fragrance, but overall, performance-wise for a sport fragrance, it's actually good, real good. Let's hit it with some pros and cons. The first pro, that opening, which is also a con. The big blast of lemon off the top. If it works for you, then this opening is going to be kind of addictive. I actually love the way it smells. I've sprayed this on multiple times just to smell the opening again. But if you hate that type of citrus, you're not gonna like that opening very much. So for me, it's a pro, but for a lot of guys, that's gonna be a con. You know what you like, so you'll know which side that falls on for you. Another pro has a great soapy nuance to it, that throwback kind of vibe done in a modern way, leaves it smelling very classy, especially for a sport type scent. Another pro, the longevity, the projection here, on point. And then the final pro, the versatility is there. You can wear this during work if you wanted to. You can easily wear it casually. You could wear it in more formal situations if you wanted to. This is a sport fragrance that is not at all the same as something like Dior Homme Sport, but it has that similar sort of usability. Now the cons, we already talked about the first one, the opening. The next con, if you were hoping it to be way more similar to this or one of the other ones in the line, you'll be disappointed. It's not that close. And the last con, which is not really a con for me, but it's not that type of fragrance that necessarily is going to scream for attention and command compliments. This fragrance is made more so for somebody who just wants to confidently smell nice. It's not gonna be that same kind of attention grabber as a lot of the more vanilla forward things that you smell out there nowadays. So if that's something that's really important to you, this may not be as good. So for me, Gentleman's Society Sport is actually way nicer than I expected. It doesn't really share any overlap with the other fragrances in the lineup, but I would take it probably over each one in the line other than this. I still think that Ombre is the best of the Gentleman's Society lineup. And so this one I would take for fall and winter. This one I would take for spring and summer, and I'd be happy with that. And just to drive it home, you do need to sample this first, if at all possible. You know, wait for it to pop up in stores, unless you're very certain that you're gonna like it. Pop in there, spray it on, and just kind of experience that opening. I think it smells really nice, but it is that type of opening that could be divisive for some people, so check it out first. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.